Hi, my name is Trixie, and I'm here to talk about writing. And specifically, I realized this week, I knew this, but it just dawned on me that not only am I a writer, and actually a published author as well, but my son is a writer and my daughter is a writer. My son, he's a singer-songwriter. He's been writing, ever since I can remember. He, even as a kid, he was writing. Always had to have slips of paper. It didn't matter what size they were. Little slips of paper. I'm the same way. He got it from me. To bigger slips of paper to, big ones. He can write on anything. And in fact, I went over to his house this last weekend and I interviewed him as a songwriter for a character that's going to come up in one of my books later down the line. I wanted his input on how the process works and what time of day he finds himself writing in, or does it have a time of day. I know that at one point he was such a night owl that he would write all night and sleep during the day. So, and not only write, but put his music into the computer and do all the things. He would wait until we were gone for the day, or gone for hours, or gone overnight or whatever, to make sure that the house was nice and silent. And he would put his songs, different sections, different tracks into the computer. Because not only does he do vocals, he does all the instruments for them, and all of them have their own tracks, and he puts it in there. And then he also writes the lyrics and puts them in. But so at one point he did his own album called Midnight Chronicles, and he told me, he said, yeah, I wrote Midnight Chronicles in the dead of night. I would write them during the night. And I'm like, whoa, that's a line. So yeah, I was able to interview him and get all of his thoughts, written down on paper, so that character later on can come to life. My daughter is also, within the last couple of weeks, within this last month, she has discovered her love for writing as well, again. Now, when she was a teenager and I was homeschooling her, she was writing a book back then. Now, to go back in time, for her, when we took her out of school, it was because she wasn't catching on to reading. She was still in one-liners when everybody else was in chapter books. And, I knew if I didn't intervene that it was going to be a major mess. I wanted my kids to be able to read. If you can read, you can find out anything. You can do anything, because you can find a book and you can read about what you want to learn. I know there's YouTube, but something about the written word and having it in your hands and not being able to lose it, you can use the manuals and all the things, right? So, but she learned how to read. She found out how much she loved to read. She's a voracious reader. And now, and even back then, she was writing a story and it was really good, but then life got in the way, and, as it does, and she let it go on the back burner for all those years, and now she's back. And she's not writing that story anymore, although she could if she can find it, she can continue on with it. But she's writing a really, really good suspense novel right now, and it is, she was reading some of it to me yesterday, and I'm just like, whoa. And so I'm very excited for her to get that done. And I wrote her a text today and told her that I wanted to encourage her. I wanted her to finish the book, that I was so into it yesterday that I can't wait to read the whole thing in its entirety. And so I hope that she realizes that, this is something that she can put her talent pool into. She does crochet with me too. We have a crochet channel, but if she can get these books out on the market, I know you guys would love them. It's very good. So, yeah, I think it's something when your kid's following your footsteps and you all of a sudden realize, wow, when did that happen? It's been coming on so gradually, or it's been in your mind, but you just all of a sudden you hooked onto that idea, and it's like, wow, this is so great. So I think that I will end with that. I hope that you guys are having a great day. Maybe your kids are following in your footsteps too, your talented footsteps. And tell your story for His glory. And I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.